This is the year of Stephen King adaptations that aren't technically Stephen King adaptations. 2025 has seen the release of The Long Walk and the upcoming The Running Man. But these two novels, originally published in 1979 and 1982 respectively, came during a period of experimentation for Stephen King, where he was writing under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. Now, why did one of the most famous and commercially successful authors of the time opt to release novels under a different name and a different face? This is the author photo for Richard Bachman. This is not Richard Bachman. This is Richard Manuel, a friend of Stephen King's literary agent. This was how deep the man was going. King wanted to test his own writing talents and see if a book of his could sell beyond his name recognition. Also, in the early days of his career, he was warned about oversaturation in the market, so this was one way of keeping up his prolific output in the early years of his career. And so he began releasing additional novels as Richard Bachman. His first four novels, including the controversial and out-of-print Rage, as well as The Long Walk, Roadwork, and The Running Man, were assembled into a collection called The Bachman Books in 1985. This was shortly after it became public knowledge that Bachman was in fact King. But even today, in reprints of these novels, they will acknowledge his past as Richard Bachman. The Running Man was previously adapted for the big screen in 1987 with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the lead role, but 2025 gives us The Long Walk, directed by Francis Lawrence and starring Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, and a much more faithful adaptation of The Running Man, directed by Edgar Wright and starring Glenn Powell. This time proudly using Stephen King's name for marketing purposes, but we'll always have Richard Bachman, whoever the hell he is.